No.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Yep.
I think we heard it. Well, hello. Hello and welcome to Idea Lab. I'm Sylvia Henderson, and my clients call me the Clarity.
Main camera, the wine shot.
My clients. Hi. Welcome to Idea Lab once again. I'm Sylvia Henderson, and I'm the Clarity Queen of Implementation. And I have with me Felicia Meadows, who is my guest today, and she's going to tell you a lot more about what she does and who she is shortly. So the two of us, and we also have somebody coming in to us remotely, and that is Dana Gilliard. And I don't know whether you're going to come in now. We're watching our producer kind of, aha, there she is.
There she is.
And you can't see us, but we see you. Hey, Dana.
Hi, Sylvia.
Yep. So you've got me, and you've got Felicia sitting
Hi,
here watching you.
Felicia.
Hi, Dana.
Hi.
So anyway, what we're going to do, and I don't know whether you want to keep Dana on the screen or not. We've got you. Don't go picking your nose because we've got you on the screen. So why don't you just stay with us for a while
Okay.
instead of that logo up there. Today's Idea Lab is all about getting things done, and we spent all of March
That's right.
working on the Idea Success Smackdown 30-day challenge, and had about 57 people who were participating in the private Facebook group. Every day I sent out a message, whether it was some words of encouragement and motivation. Sometimes it was an article. Sometimes it was a TV episode that I did where I interviewed somebody who had ideas and they implemented their idea pretty much in business. Oh, I don't know. I think I sent out some puzzles for some fun weekend stuff. So it was basically 30 days of having people who wanted to participate, and this was all voluntary, and this time it was complimentary. Next time it won't be. Asking people to set a goal for the month, whether it was something they planned to do in the beginning of the year and hadn't gotten to yet, or whether it was something that carried over from last year, or you've just been meaning to get to for a while and hadn't gotten it done. And I asked people who were participating to break it down into something that was manageable in 30 days. Because, we're motivated by seeing things happen reasonably quickly. If there's something that we know, oh, it's going to get done within 6 months, the really motivated folks do that, but more than likely a lot of folks don't. So I really wanted to get people, since I'm about implementation, to get something and let's get going on it before the first quarter of the year was out. And it was really, really cool to see people post what they were doing and post their progress throughout the month. And then to get some of the comments that we got at the end of the month about, if it weren't for you setting the stage for me, pushing me to do something, I might not have gotten it done. And that really hit my heart. Because that was the whole point. It wasn't how great I am for doing something like that. It was how many people can I get to get some little thing done for their business, for their life, so that they move into the next quarter of the year, the next part of the year, which is now April, and that's almost halfway over, being in action. So what I wanted to do was talk about getting things done and how we do that, but also to invite a couple of folks who participated in the Smackdown to talk about how they got something done, the trials or tribulations, because some things got to a slow start. We encountered some situations that probably we'll talk about in this next hour or so. For sometimes we've got these things that we want to get done, and we've got so many things, we don't know which one to work on. We're going to talk about that. Other times we have that one thing that just seems so, that's the thing we're going to work on, and we're too deep into our own stuff that maybe it's not the right thing to work on right now. Other times we've got something that's so big, we don't quite know how to break it down into a manageable piece, and so we just keep letting it go and letting it go because it's so big, and we don't know how to tackle it in small bites. And there's just other barriers, I guess, to getting things done that I wanted to at least throw out there to you. I've encountered mostly all of them at some point in time, and then I've got a couple of tips for each one of those barriers on how to get kind of through that barrier to getting things done. In between all that, we'll hear from Dana and we'll hear from Felicia. So, I think I'm going to throw out one or two. First, I'll ask you, and I don't know how many of you are on the live stream, and I don't know how many of you will see this later, but one of the things I want to ask you is, when you're thinking about getting stuff done, and this is whether you've got an idea you want to get it out of your head and into action, whether you've got a dream you want to get started on, whether you've got a goal or an intention that you need to just start working on and getting done, one of the first questions that I like to ask is, why? What's the value? What's the value to you of getting that thing done? What's it mean to you when you get something accomplished? And I ask myself that sometimes when I get stuck. And a couple of the things that I came up with are things like, sometimes I have that sense of accomplishment. It's just like, yes, finally, I've accomplished something. And it's more than just that little checklist thing, but it's that feeling of I've accomplished what I set out to accomplish. Some of us want to get things done because we want to make more money. And that project we wanted to start, that workshop we were planning on giving, or that product we were planning on completing, we're not going to make any money on it unless we get it done. If you're working in an organization, sometimes you want to get something done there because you'll move the organization's mission forward, and that might yield you a career advancement or a raise or a bonus or something like that. So those would be some of the motivations for getting things done. I'm going to kind of throw it out to Felicia and Dana. Felicia, when you're thinking about getting something done, what's that mean to you? And I know it depends, but
of course, it does depend. It does depend. But in this particular case, for me, my long-standing joke for the last few months has been I've been an entrepreneur in spirit since I was a teenager, and an entrepreneur in action for the last 6 months. So for me, the timing was okay. I've always been one who was very goal-oriented, very focused on everything. I'm like, I got to get this done. And it was always for me to prove a point. I have to make sure, I'm going to do it. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Or if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Okay. So that's just been me. So the last 6 months, I'm trying to move to the entrepreneur mindset. So moving to that mindset, I was like, I've got to get working on this thing. Sitting on it is not making it happen. So for me, it was, when am I going to really start and buckle down and do? But what I realized this go around, for me, it was about clarity, about being very clear about what I wanted to do. Before, I was all over the place. Well, I think I'm going to do this. Well, I think I want to do that. But clarity is what solidified it for me this time.
Okay. All right.
It's about clarity. Yes, being clear and what I wanted. Yes. But every time I'm clear, it works out. So, yes.
Okay, cool. Cool. And Dana, what's for you when you're thinking about getting things done? And again, I know for you it depends also, but what are some of the things that motivate you for getting it done? What does it mean to you when you get something done?
Actually, there is a reward for me in getting it done. When I started out this year, I decided to start an empowerment group and to motivate the women and encourage them. It's what motivated me to get those things done. I had to, just go out and get some things to empower myself in order to empower them. That's the reward that I received by going ahead and do what I was, the things that I was set out to do. And for as Felicia said, there's clarity, and this is strategy. I mean, the strategy of the program that you have helped me to initiate and to carry out some things that I just decided to do in my life.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And I'm gonna actually for producer for Glenn. I need you to. We need to bring up the speaker,
For Dana a little bit.
and we hear an echo in the other room. So we've got.
So I need to say it
Yeah.
again.
Perfect. And we hear the echo in the other room. So you may.
Uh-oh. Like,
All right. Yes, that's the
Okay.
production. The production
Setback.
while we're airing on the. But that's what that's
Yes.
what this whole live stream and that's
Yes.
what this whole Idea Lab is about. It's not meant to be a whole stiff and formal program. It's meant to be conversational. If we make a goof here or there, hey,
Okay, so be it.
you're catching us live and unfiltered. I think is what I called last month actually. So those of you who are listening and watching, you've just heard some of the motivations of why we want to get things done. And I need to tone it down a little bit because I'm used to speaking to like 100 people. And so when I'm on TV and on camera, I've seen producers go, tone it down. Because you're not talking to an audience. So let me bring it down one notch anyway. So I'm going to hit about maybe 3 barriers, give you 3 tips, and then we'll come back to talking to either Dana or Felicia about sort of the project they worked on. I want them to tell you a little bit about who they are and what they do and how you can reach them because everybody's volunteering their time. Everybody's taking their time to be on the program, to be on this show, and to support me. And I want to support those who are here in promoting them too and promoting their businesses and what they do. So I'm going to give you here's a couple of barriers, and here are a couple of my tips for getting past those barriers for getting things done. The first one that I'm thinking of or that I picked out was, we've got so many choices that we can't decide what to do. If you're an entrepreneur, you are full of ideas. And if you're like me, you started out the year with, about 15 things you wanted to do. And some get done. But some are like, I've got 5 things that are of equal weight in my mind anyway. How do I get them? How do I figure out which one? Well, when I work with people, when I work with clients to help them figure that out, the number one thing we start with is, what is your bigger goal for the year? Or what are your big 2 or 3 goals for the year? Or usually if you're figuring out, so do I work on my workshop or do I work on the book or do I work on, marketing that I was going to do? And those 3 things may feel like they're of equal weight. I will say, let's back up. What was your number 1 goal for the year or your number 1 goal for the next 6 months? And if we can look at the bigger picture, the bigger goal, and then identify which of these things you're thinking about doing would be your top 1 or 2, say within the next 30 days or the next 60 days. Basically breaking down the bigger goal and what are the top 1 to 3 things that will help you reach that goal. And then we work through, so of these 3 things, what might bring you money right away? Or what might be the easiest thing to get through right away? Or what might be what you have the resources to handle right now versus you have to gather resources for another one of those tasks you want to accomplish later. So we're basically prioritizing, we're breaking down we're stepping back to look at the bigger picture. We're looking at which of those many things you want to do fit into that bigger picture so that you're not just busy, you're accomplishing something that moves you towards your goal. And then let's take those choices and figure out what's most important right now based on you need income or based on you need exposure or whatever other needs you have for action right now. So I think I just went wandering a little bit, but it's basically back up, look at the big picture, figure out, prioritize which of the items you want to get done fit into that bigger picture, and then let's even prioritize those to see which will yield you the biggest benefit right away. So that's how we tackle the so many choices, can't decide which one to work on. And then maybe one more, and then I'll go into seeing how my guests handle things. Facing that dreaded task. Oh my gosh, how many times do we get up in the morning or we start the month off and we go, okay, there is this one thing I've got to do. And sometimes I think, this is my business. I'm not working for somebody else. This is my business. So why do I have a task that I dread? Well, we all do, because we have to work in our business and we have to work on our business. And sometimes those dreaded tasks for me involve finances, they involve the paperwork, they involve the administrative work that's involved in that. It's a part of running a business. So I look at some of those dreaded tasks sometimes and think, oh, this has got to get done. I've got to create that Facebook page, or I've got to get that page added to the website, and I don't want to do it. And so to get past that dreaded task, I say pick one thing that you're dreading doing that day and do it first. If we pick that one thing today and that we're just like, oh gosh, I don't want to do that, and we tend to go, I'll do it at noon, I'll do it later. I say no, do it first, get it out of the way, and the rest of the day you can do what you kind of want to do or need to do. That's not so dreaded. We talk about give me the bad news first and then give me the good news. Well, it's sort of the same thing. Do that one thing you dread first, get it out of the way, and then that frees you up for the rest of the day to take care of what you either like doing or don't dread so much. And these are real quick solutions, but some of these just might hit you if you're in that space right now. So that's what I'll cover for now. I'll give you a few others as we go along. So I'm going to start out. I think I'll start out with you, Felicia, and just sort of, first of all, who are you? What do you do? How do people reach you?
Okay, well, let me say, all that hit close to home.
Oh.
So I'm sitting there like, oh, Sylvia stepping on my toes. But I think that's for most people. I'm a master procrastinator. But when I need to get something done, I get it done. And I think that's something we all need to work on, is the procrastination, because we dread doing the little things that will make the big picture the big picture. We dread it, but it has to be done. Somebody has to do it, and especially as entrepreneurs, we have to do all of it. So
if you're solo, that's right.
Yeah, it's on you. And I keep joke all the time. So I'm going through Procrastinators Anonymous. I'm trying to work through that. But what I do is in addition to being a school counselor, I'm also a youth coach, and I'm the CEO and founder of Tomorrow's Future, where I empower young people to find their passion and purpose to create the life of their dreams. That's my vision and my mission. So you want me to talk a little bit about where I fall short, or you want me to talk about where I do well? I could do, I have a little bit of both.
Well, okay, first, and how do people find you?
Okay, you can find me, I'm on Facebook at Felicia, is Step Up Your Life Meadows, or via email, felicia.stepupyourlife@gmail.com. So people are welcome to reach out to me, inbox me, message me, email me what I'm doing for the next few months. For anyone that works with young people, if they're interested, I'm offering a complimentary 45-minute Dreams to Reality workshop for young people ages, I say grade 7 to 12, so age 13 to 18. It's just a feet in the water kind of thing to get them to see what it is that I do to help young people make their dreams a reality. See what your dreams are and how we can make it real. So for the next few months, it's complimentary. So anyone who works with young people and they're interested in,
that's a great price.
Yeah, it really is. Complimentary is great. So I always say to hop on board.
Because it won't be complimentary.
It won't be complimentary in a couple of months, but I'm doing it now because I want to reach as many young people as I can. Now with what I do, I'm very passionate about young people. Youth are my thing. Passionate about making sure they follow their dreams now, know what their dreams are now, so they won't become the adults trying to figure out where their dreams are and what happened to my dreams. And I want to live my dreams, but now I have the house, the car, the kids, the job, and no one ever asked me what my dream was when I was, young. So that's what I do.
Plus, I would think, I know we're going off slightly. Plus, I would think, number one, we're stifled. By the time they get to high school, the dreams have already been,
Yeah,
you
pretty
can't do that, you
yeah.
can't do that.
Yeah.
But also, I would think part of what causes teenage pregnancy and the other issues, drugs or whatever other
Dropout
issues
rates,
that
all that.
that they encounter because they're not doing what they want to do, figuring out that they can have dreams and can work on them must be
Yes.
so freeing.
And for me, and of course we're a little off topic, but we'll
I
get
know,
back on,
but
I'm
now
sure.
I'm gonna get back on.
But for me, what I see is, we all have dreams, and most people never ask young people what they want to do. And I don't, I tell parents, this is my disclaimer, I'm not, chastising any parents, but a lot of times the parent's dream is not what the child's dream is. So they stifle, so they stifle the dream. And what I do with young people is not necessarily, because the bigger dream is, we want you to become adults to do what you love to do. But through my workshop, the plan gives them something they can do within the next 3 months to work on their dream. So it's not, most people are like, you want to be, say, an astronaut. Okay, well, we're going to motivate you and take those science classes. Okay, that's great. But what can you do now?
Okay.
What can you do in the next 3 months to work on your dream for the future?
Cool.
So not once you get out of high school, once you get to college and realize that's not where I want to be, or once you get in the job and realize that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
What can we do right now, or what can you do right now to help you work on your dreams?
Cool.
Yep.
So when you were thinking of, when I said I'm going to do this Smackdown, this 30-day challenge, what did you think about, or what were you thinking of tackling, or?
Well, like I shared, I had just kind of wrapped up my workshop, the workshop that I'm presenting now. But during the Smackdown, I was kind of critiquing it. I was talking about how it's like soup. You put the water, you start the water. That's how I work.
Okay.
Put the water in first, and like, okay, I think I'm gonna make some chicken soup. So I need a little stock here. Then what else I need to put in? So that's how I operate. So I had the bare minimum.
Okay.
And then as I was going through the Idea Smackdown, I was like, oh, I need to add this to the workshop, or add this, or
Okay.
or, oh, let me put this piece in here. And especially thinking about dealing with young people, because I'm an educator. I always say I'm an educator by trade. That's just, that's my thing. So I have to think like they think, to facilitate or teach to adults is totally different than the children. So then I had to go back and say, oh, what do I need to add to my workshop where kids will get it? So, when I'm explaining things to them, they're like, what is she talking about?
Okay.
So I kind of added the chicken and the carrots and the celery to my chicken soup as I was working through the Smackdown. That's what I did.
So you started out the Smackdown with.
Yes.
You started out in March with the outline, with the stock
for my
the
stew.
workshop.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And so by the end of March, everything it's together. It was together.
So what about? Because you're a doer, and like you said, when you set your mind to something, you're going to do it. What did having that chance to do it in that environment do that you wouldn't have done otherwise, if that question made any sense?
It did. It made perfect sense. I probably would not have, well, I may have. I'm thinking have gone back and revamped it. I may or may not have, but it made me think, what else do I need to add to this to make it solid, to make it work, to make it doable, versus I may have just, I had it together, but the other components I may not have even thought about. I may have, but after I did it, probably would have gone back after I did it and said, oh, maybe I should have done this in hindsight 2020. So, just thinking about them, like, oh, what do I need to go back and add? So that to me was the benefit.
Okay.
Was the benefit to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so you did the workshop?
Yes,
done it.
yes, I
Okay.
have. Yes, I did.
All right.
I did.
Celebration?
Oh,
Congratulations.
yes. It was wonderful. I was so excited. I think I was more excited than the kids were when I was driving home.
Well, that's because you knew what you put into it.
Yes, and I think too, as I was going through the things that I added, I realized needed to be added. Otherwise, I don't think the benefit and the outcome would have been the same.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so it was magnificent.
I'm going to ask you later. I'm going to bring in Dana now
Okay.
and ask the same questions, but we'll talk a little bit later. All
Okay.
did not go smoothly, I'm sure, and you probably did encounter a couple of little barriers. So
Oh,
You know,
yes.
it'll give you a
Okay.
chance to think about what
Okay.
you want to share with.
Okay.
How didn't it go as well as you wanted, and you know,
Okay.
how you overcame that.
Okay.
So, Dana, you want to talk, say a little bit about who you are, what you do, how people can reach you?
Well, I'm a soul empowerment coach. What I do is I focus on things such as the mind, the will, the emotions of man, and try to motivate in those areas. I have a Facebook page. I can be reached at www.facebook.com/Dana Empowers. That's facebook.com/Dana Empowers. And I also have a web page at www.danaempowers.com. And I'm pretty excited about what I'm doing. Even tonight, I have my first conference or teleconference, Purpose Unveiled, tonight.
Wow.
If anybody wants to log in on that, it's at 9 o'clock at telephone area code 605-475-5950. And the code is 1642086. And the way I arrived at getting ready to do this Purpose Unveiled teleconference is through the Smackdown. I actually started out to do the Smackdown. I was going to say, okay, I'm going to read some empowerment books and work on my presentation skills and learn more about my niche. But as I began to dig in those empowerment books, which of course I did some audio books because I was on the go all the time, and work on my presentation, it just came to me that I should do a teleconference about what I know and the person, you know, who I am and those things that I've developed and actually learned through the books. Now, I said, okay, I'll do the teleconference, but in doing the teleconference, I had some other stuff that I needed to do, like launch a website and get a photo shoot and put some things together. And I totally conked out in the middle of it until Sylvia, she sent me an email. Sent me an email and said, I want to know how things are going. And I'm like, oh, okay. I think it took me a day or so to get back. And so I actually answered her, and then I got it together. And then so I just started again, even in the middle of getting all of the photo shoots and doing the web pages and things like that, I still had time to read some empowerment books. Because not only that, I have a group that I mentor, Soul Sister Soul Empowerment Group. And at that time, also, I was doing empowerment training. We were in the middle of an 8-week training. And yeah, I was pretty busy during the Smackdown. But the Smackdown helped me to be, you know, more strategic in what I was doing. It helped me to be more focused. And I mean, you know, even the first week of me just declaring that I would do this thing, it was just an awesome first move.
Yeah, making that declaration. Somebody told me, and it came up, I don't know where or how. You know, sometimes we're brilliant and we don't even know where
it comes from.
We don't know where it comes from.
It comes from somewhere.
But I said something one day about declaring, putting that stake in the ground, making the statement. And whoever I was talking to said, you know what? Making the declaration just cements it for me, because once I say it out loud, whether it's to somebody else or whether it's just to myself, it's like, oh crap, now it's
real.
I've got to do it. Now it's real.
Right.
You know, they talk about writing down your goals or putting it down on paper. But yeah, you're right. Making that declaration cements it in your mind. Yeah. So, so you had a lot of things you were taking care of.
A lot. But I was motivated.
So which of the many things, or the 5 of the many things, could you actually measure from start to finish that, yes, I started in this state, or I started with this totally non-existent, and after 30 days, this now exists? I mean, was it measurable? Did you see the progress as it took place?
Yes, I did. I would say my total existence. About 30 days ago, like I said, I didn't have the site. I didn't have the photo shoot. You know, I didn't have the motivation to even be out there. After, like I said, joining the Smackdown, I got the motivation. I seen some things that was going on. I saw you on YouTube and some other
Wow.
things, and I was like, yeah, I got an idea. I got an idea that I want to put forward, and that's what I went forward with it.
Cool.
That's cool.
Cool. When we work by ourselves, I don't know. Do you work by yourself for the most part?
I had a coach
Okay.
also, but for the most part, I have to do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to do it myself.
And most of us, when we're working by ourselves, it's like you've got to. We get stuck, and sometimes we just we know better. We say, okay, I'm telling other people to do something.
Exactly.
I'm trying to move other people along. I'm trying to empower them or encourage them. And here I am sitting here stuck. So
It's not looking good. It's just not. It's not a good look to be sitting here stuck and you're trying to motivate someone else.
Yep. Yep. People think it tickles me now. Now I've got some clients probably watching this, so now they're going to say, "Oh, she's not." But sometimes I hear, "You're all, you don't have that problem. You seem so together. You seem so organized." And I think, "Oh man,
if they only knew." We all have that problem.
They only knew.
So, yeah.
I know. Here are the three coaches here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We all have that. That's a human nature. That's a human thing.
Yep.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's only a moment, though. The last momentarily.
Yeah. I'm going to jump back to, here's a couple more barriers that I encounter, that many people encounter, a couple more tips to get past those barriers. And then we'll hear about what might not have been so rosy for each of you as far as getting things done, whether it was just within the 30 days or even further. And I'm working from, you can't really see this up close, but I'm working from a list that I put together that is, that's a list of the barriers that we encounter when we're getting things done and the solutions to some of those barriers. I've got it as a PDF file, but I'm going to make you work to get it this time. So, we do some things complimentary, but this one, I'm going to have you, if you have texting, I'm going to have you text 202, and I know I should have had like a visual with the number, but that's like hindsight. Phone number is 202-499, and I'll repeat this, 2478. That's 202-499-2478. There's really 2478 is B, the letter B, G for G. Be great is really what those last four letters are. 2478 is be great. Just 202-499 be great. Text that number and text the keyword let me in. That's LETMEIN. So that's keyword let me in. Text that to that phone number. Yeah, all one word. And if you do that, what that does is that'll send you to I have a program of virtual. He's pointing to where I should be looking. I have a program. I know. You can't see this, but there's somebody behind the camera kind of like and this one right here, yes. What I've started is sort of a virtual coaching program. And I've got all kinds of, a lot of the training materials that I've put together for getting your ideas implemented. It's all related to implementation, to getting things done. I've got formal modular programs. I've got a lot of my audio programs that are there in this site. I'm calling it my vault of resources. And there are ways to communicate with me and work with me sort of as a group remotely or virtually rather than sitting here in person with me. But that way you have access to me, you have access to a lot of my resources and my training, and I have a referral, I have a Rolodex. That's old school. That's that little thing that used to roll and find people's phone numbers. That's right. I call it my Idea Rolodex. And it's a growing list of resources that I can refer you to for things related to working in your business, and like the most wonderful virtual assistant, and I have no idea why I'm being pointed to.
That's why.
Talk to you, okay?
I love
I
it.
will refer you to people that I'm connected to, and people who I know are connected to. You know, you're looking for business cards to be done. How many zillions of people do business cards? I have the most wonderful business card person, printer person that I refer you to. Well, you know that's kind of worth something to know resources that you can count on. So all of this I put together in my vault of resources, and I'm making it available. It's normally I'm making it 100. Yes, it's normally $197 for the year. That's $197 for the year. Even that is what, less than, I don't know, 50 cents a day or something like that, to get training, to get resources, to have access to me to help you get things done. I'm making it available because you're watching this program for $97 for the year. So when you text "let me in," all one word, to the phone number 202-499-2478, you will get a link. You'll get back a link to that resource, and some of the other resources in there are a lot of reference sheets, including this reference sheet on how to get things done, some of the barriers that you'll face, and some of the solutions to those barriers. So that's how you'll get this sheet if you want the reference card for getting things done. So here's a couple of other barriers that I've got here on the sheet. How many times are we tempted to quit? How many times are we tempted to quit when we are working on something and we know we should get it done, but we're just like, oh man, why don't I just leave this alone and go to something else? Well, my solution for that one is going to be find an accountability partner. You know, I just finished saying we work alone so often. Find an accountability partner to help you keep you motivated and to keep you from quitting. That sounds like duh, but some of these answers are simple. Some of these solutions are pretty simple for when you're tempted to quit. Get somebody to keep you moving. Yeah, we think sometimes we should be accountable to ourselves, but it doesn't always work that way.
It does not.
So
It does not.
an accountability partner can be, I'm going to say, probably not the family member that will make it easy for you to quit. They go, I get told sometimes, oh, you know, it's so hard. What if you're having that difficulty? Why don't you just set that aside? And I'm like, no. I need you to say, get your buns in gear. But sometimes that doesn't happen with the person that means the most to you or to your family, in your family. Here's one more little tip. If you have, and this was a productivity person told me this, and doggone it if it doesn't work. In the midst of our getting things done business-wise, we sometimes have errands to run, and we have to get out and take care of things outside of the house. And we sometimes have to have errands to run outside the house. I can't wait to see this later. It's gonna be, and I'm an experienced television person too, but I'm not paying attention right now. Yes, we're running. We have to get out and run errands, and a lot of times for me, I know the errands are like, okay, it's going to take 2 or 3 hours of my day, and it seems like a real inefficient timing is when I have a project to get done. Well, a productivity person shared with me, first of all, map out the route. Now you might be thinking, yeah, that makes sense. Map out the route, because sometimes I'm thinking, oh, I've got to get post office, I've got to take care of I don't know, this store, and I've got to get office supplies, and there's 2 or 3 other things that I need to do. And in my head, I'm picturing where they are, but I'm not picturing the route. And she said, map out the route so that you take as many right turns as you can take. So
Okay.
it's not, because I'm thinking the post office for me, for where I am, is to the left, and then from there something else might be I have to make a left turn somewhere. And she said, if you map out your route so that you just take right turns or as many right turns as you can, it saves time. We here in the DC area can right turn on red for the most part, and you're consciously giving thought to how you're going to get from one place to the other, and how you can drop off the mail and then take care of the next thing because it's nearby. And I thought, I'll be darned, it does save time. Yeah, it does save time.
Wow.
So that was one. There's one tip for running those errands when you have limited time. Map it out so that you can aggregate. That's the word. Oh boy, you can aggregate as many of your errands as you can and take as many right turns as you can.
That's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm not a productivity expert, but one shared that with me for getting something done in a lesser amount of time. So that's my tip for that, for errands. And meanwhile, you're thinking.
Yes, because now I'm going to be driving, thinking about the right turns. Because I do map out. When I'm driving, I pinpoint where everything is, and I try to do it in a circle. But I never think about the right turns. I'm like, furthest here, and then here, 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 whatever brings me back closer to home. But now I'm going to be driving, thinking about the right turns. See, that's going to be stuck in my head. But that's cool. Okay.
So I also know in my community, in order to get to the post office, I've got in order to get to the post office, I've got to sit at the major intersection that takes a long time.
Yes.
Because they go this way first, and then they got all turn, and makes me crazy. And then when you get to the next spot, when I go to the library, yes, I still go to a library
Me too.
to get my motivational books on tape or whatever they are, or on CD. That's another left turn, so I've got to do a UB, and it's well, if you map it out.
All right, I'm going to be thinking about that the whole time I'm driving home.
I'm going to do that too.
You'll be thinking about that.
I'm taking a long way to work.
I'm like, oh my, that's so funny. Now that's going to be ingrained in my brain.
Exactly.
But
Cool.
that's cool.
So let's talk about a little bit about what didn't go quite as smoothly for you. I'm going to start with Dana this time.
Okay.
Yes. So what things did you encounter over the month, and just in general, but specifically over the last month, and so how did you get past them?
Well, what I encountered, it just seems as if I was doing a lot. I did get what seemed like to be a cold for like a couple weeks, but I had to work through it. And just, my body kind of like hunking out in the middle of this thing. I had to work through it. And other obstacles besides me procrastinating and really kind of not motivated, those type things. I mean, those were the main things that, I didn't handle real well, but I made it through.
So what one or two things would you tell people, this is what I did to make it through what I encountered? So as far as advice, what?
I think when you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, you can hold on to the why. And you can say, okay, I'm doing this because I'm helping someone. I'm doing this because it's just been on my things to do list for like ever. I'm doing this because it just has to be done. When you hold on to the why, I believe it'll help push you through.
That's juicy. Yes, that's one of the things I start with too in some of my workshops, especially the retreat that I run once a year. It's like we spend a lot of time on the why, because I know I talk about two whys. There's the public why that you say, well, because I want to make things better, or because I want to do what's right for the group, or all that. That's the public why, and that's great. But then there's that private why, and a lot of times there's the why that you don't tell somebody else, but it's that one thing. It is the why that drives you. I know. An example I sometimes give is, you want to make an improvement on the job. I mean, I came from the corporate world years ago, so I know I had ideas. I wanted to make an improvement in something in a process. And the public why was because it's for the good of the organization. But the private why was, well, because I want to look good, because I want a promotion, And that's not the why that I could tell.
Self-seeking.
That's right. But that was the motivator for me. It was like, and that's what kept me going. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always an intrinsic
Private
motivator.
why.
Always something intrinsic. Yes.
So from here, where do you go from here now, Dana, as far as continuing with what the momentum that you had?
Well, I'll get another project. I'll make the decision to do it. I'll schedule it, and I'll continue to work towards that goal. I just look forward to just going forth in bigger and greater projects. So
Cool. And as
Is
you're
that what you're
empowering
saying?
your clients, how can you get them? I'm like throwing this out here. So you didn't have a chance to think about it, but I know sometimes I go, well, I've benefited in some way or another with what I just went through with my coach, because I've got a coach, or many coaches actually. So how can I now do this for my own clients, for the people who I'm working with? So I'll throw that out to you too, and say, so what can you integrate into your practice or into your lessons for the people that you're empowering to help them move and get things done?
Well, this kind of reminds me of something that I teach about, remaining in alignment, and keeping the main thing, the main thing, the main thing. And if you have a project that you're working on, you want to keep that the main thing. So I can incorporate that into my divine alignment, program that I do, or whatever, my divine alignment session, to help them to understand that those things and those goals that they have, work it out. And now I can teach some of these same tactics to them, or strategies.
Yeah. And I think, like I said earlier in the program too, while there are long-term things that they probably want to accomplish in becoming more empowered, think of what can you have them do along the way that is a 2-week challenge or a 30-day challenge or something, so that they can see progress as they're moving along. Because there's the big stuff, but they don't stay encouraged on the big stuff unless they see the little progress along the way. So I know there's a lot of challenges out there. There's a lot of 21-day programs, and I'm participating in one right now that's more personal than professional. I know health and wellness people have these challenges, and so that could be that's why I was doing this 30-day challenge, to see what could I do to help folks move forward just a little bit. And then you keep on moving. You either move on your own after the Smackdown, or you hire me and you work, let me help you move you along, one of the two. So yeah, I know you. Tell us one more time, and I'm gonna sort of release you so you can prepare for your teleseminar if you want to, or you can stay until the end. But let us know again how we get into your program, Dana.
Well, tonight I'm doing a teleconference, Purpose Unveiled, to help you to realize your purpose. I deal with destiny and authenticity. The telephone number is area code 605-475-5950, and the code to use is 164-2086. Again, it's 605-475-5950. And my Facebook page is www.facebook.com, of course, /Dana Empowers. That's DANAEMPOWERS, and also www.danaempowers.com. I look forward to having each and every one of you on the line tonight. Whoever can make it, This is a 4-week training program, and for Wednesdays for the next 3-4 weeks. But I encourage you to log on or call in on this teleconference tonight.
Great. Great. I mean, I'm glad, I'm honored that you joined us, knowing you've got something coming up, boy, because I know what getting ready for that is all about.
Right. And I appreciate you for allowing me to be on.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
So I'm going to release you because I think, yeah, you want to go get ready. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.
Good night,
Okay.
Dana.
Bye-bye.
What's going to be weird is now she'll see what happened later.
Yeah, yes. She's gonna look at me like, that's what was going on.
Yep.
I'm like,
great.
yes, Dana, that's what's happening. Yes.
Okay, lady.
Okay. So
You had a chance to think about it.
yes, something like this, processing.
That's all right.
Yeah. So going back to what I said earlier, for me, it's about clarity. That's if I'm not clear, because I have ideas everywhere. I mean, they're everywhere. But it goes back to being the jack of all trades and master of none. You're trying to tackle all these ideas, and none of them ever get accomplished. So for me, it was being very clear about what it was I wanted to do.
Okay.
Because I had ideas. I mean, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. I'm like, okay, you can't do 15 different things. So for me, my biggest thing was, okay, at moving into the the coaching realm with the young people, move from counselor to coach and kind of, mingling the two. What can I do now? What can I give to them now that's going to be something of substance that they can use? Okay. So as I move into, the coaching piece, this can be something they can use whether they coach with me or not. So that was, for me, is the clarity. So now I have 9 million other ideas that are running around in my head, still based around, the same concept, but for me moving forward is realizing I have to take one thing at a time, because working on, multitasking, we're all, especially as women, we're really good at multitasking.
Yep.
I'm great at it, fantastic, especially having kids too. It's, you have no choice. But what I found in the past is I would get started, and because I wasn't seeing progress, I wouldn't continue.
Okay.
It was kind of like, well, this isn't going to take me anywhere. Well, why am I doing this?
Okay.
And then going back, like Dana said, the why. For me, my why has now shifted. Before, when I talk about the entrepreneurial journey, I've been doing the entrepreneurial thing for years, but it was never in line with my purpose. So it wasn't until now that what I'm doing is in line with my purpose, so that I'm very clear as to what I need to do. Before I was just doing stuff, my why was I need to make money. Well, that's not a real why.
Okay.
I mean, it's a why, but
what was that switch?
Yeah. So I mean, that's a why, but it's not a motive enough to motivate you to really do what you. So once I realized I was working in my purpose, my why has changed, because what my why is, I have several whys, but one of my whys, the bigger why, is now in my job, one of the reasons I became a school counselor is because I knew in education I could reach children in a larger capacity, because that was my focus. But then I started thinking, I'm still in this box. I'm only still reaching a small number of children.
Okay, because you're local.
Right. And I'm in one place. So as a coach, I can reach multitudes of children in different places in a different capacity to give them a more one-on-one, hands-on view of what their dream life could be. Where I can't do that with what I'm doing now. But in the coaching realm, reaching more kids, I can. And once I became clear, it's been on and popping. So I'm like, I was clear. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. So for me, that's what helped me. But now I'm generating more ideas stemming from this idea, which to me, because now I'm clear, it'll be so much easier to do. But it's the clarity. If you don't have clarity, it's like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'll do that later. Well, I'll do this. Well, I don't really want to do that either. So
because they all seem equally as important.
Yeah, and they're really not even important to be honest. They're probably not, but because they don't have any connection to what the greater focus. So having all and it's wonderful, and I have all these other ideas too that I want to implement eventually.
Now, are you capturing them?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
I am. All right.
I am. I'm one of those people. As soon as it's I get an idea, I'm like, oh, boom, write this down. I need to do this. Okay. Oh, boom, I need to do this. So I have notebooks, Post-its, everywhere that eventually I will get together. But for now, my focus is this piece that I want to do, and just components of that as well.
Okay.
So yeah, clarity for me is what would help me. Yeah.
So now, that the workshop you did, I'm not trying to get in your business.
Get all in it. You can get all in it. Get all in it.
But the workshop that you did, now, that was a one-time, and
Yes.
I mean, it was done in one day or something,
Yes.
and you can do it again in one day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, because I'm offering the workshops for most of the people that I reached out to, of course, are nonprofit. Those people who work with young people. Most people work with grown folks. I work with children. It's kind of hard. You know, most people are like, we want to work with adults. Well, I'm trying to catch them before they get where we are, and we're looking like, how'd I get here? But in any event, so yes, it's a workshop that I've offered to different organizations and different programs. But that is just the small component of the coaching piece, because there's a whole nother component that once the workshop is done, then they're, you know, if they want to do the coaching piece, and you know, the packages that go with the coaching piece to go a little bit further into what the workshop entails, that's that section. That's a separate piece.
Because I'm thinking the workshop, I know for me, the workshops they're kind of lead generation, or or I've got the leads, but they're so now this is what's possible. But now, how are you going to make it?
Now what? Right.
Yeah, how are you
Now
going to
what?
make it possible?
Right.
And that's when it's like, well,
Right.
work with me and
So yeah, so the
buy my
workshop-
book and listen to
right.
my tapes
Yes.
and work with me in order to make
So the
it.
workshop is the appetizer.
Yeah.
And the coaching and the additional services are the meal and the dessert. So
I had somebody tell me once, a coach tell me once, that the complimentary things we do, or what we offer, whether it's complimentary or a low cost to get people interested, is your what.
okay.
And the how is what you charge for.
Yes. Correct.
So
yes.
that's a tip if any of you are,
Yes.
are
That's a great tip.
figuring out what to do with
Yes. Yes. And that took me to working with, you know, coaches and talking to people to figure that part out.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of like, okay, I'm here. You know, what do I do? And then I was like, oh, okay. Then they can see what I have to offer. And then in turn, people see the value in what you have to give, then they're willing to pay for that value. So
before now, you got a little bit. You got stuck with which should I work on? And somebody else who participated in the Smackdown gave you a tip. So it didn't always come from me. It came from other people. What did I think Sherry?
what did Sherry say? What did Sherry say to me? Because somebody gave me something, and I was like, oh, that's profound. Yeah. I can't remember what it was. But whatever it was, I probably took it around with it. But it was because, you know, because people are like, well, maybe you should do something. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Because, you know, I'm so open to, I mean, any ideas that come, you know, because what I think will work, if I haven't tried it, I'm willing to try it. So, yeah, I can't remember what it was, but I remember.
There's something about focusing on one thing or just.
Yeah, and we had a dialogue, I think, back and forth about, we were talking about how focusing on something, and then I was saying, we'll do this, and then we'll tweak that, and it was like, so we were back and forth, so that was cool. But whatever advice and ideas and information people present, you know, within reason, I'm like, let me try that. I'm like, let me see. It doesn't hurt to try. So that was cool. I mean, the group was phenomenal. It really was.
That's the power of community.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was phenomenal. Because you get to see, you know, what other people are doing and their ideas, and they get to kind of help you facilitate yours, but because I love having feedback, because sometimes, you know, people think of things you don't never think of, and you're like, oh, I never even thought about that. Let me think, you know. So it was phenomenal.
Great, great.
It's phenomenal.
And I'll ask you what I asked Dana too. So with the kids that you work with now, the youth you work with, what aspects of helping them get things done? Because they talk about multitasking. My gosh, they've got to prepare for whatever they're going to do in the future, whether it's college or trade or what else, and all the other things they juggle with the sports and the clubs and the friends. So what kind of might help them focus on something and get something done?
Okay, so now I'm getting ready to take an idea that you said during this live stream, because I was thinking about it. I said, well, that's really cool, like a 21-day challenge, you know, and I was like, wow, I never even thought about that.
Okay.
So now that's an idea I'm going to take and run with, to maybe not, you know, because I kind of do that anyway in my job, because when we look at it, you know, especially, well, the focus a lot of times is on grades or behavior or something like that. So with grades, it's always during the quarter, you know, what are you going to do this quarter to, you know, improve your grades? But the quarter, that's 9 weeks. That's a long time for a child to try to, 9 weeks from now, they
Yeah.
can't even think about what's going on Friday, So for them, and a lot of times I tell parents that, you have to chunk things for kids. You have to break it down into, especially when you're talking about rewards and consequences. You may have a child, they can't go Monday through Friday on a reward system. It may have to be day by day. They have to build, rewards every day. And then on Friday, the big reward is this. If you do this on Monday, this is the reward. On Tuesday, this is the reward. So that kind of triggered something for me. So I said, oh, wow, I can kind of turn that thing that I'm doing anyway into something to work with my, my youth on. And, 21 days is not a long time. It isn't. But, like a 21-day challenge. It takes 21 days to break a habit. So for that, just when you said, I was like, oh, I'm going to use that. So I'm just going to take that.
See there?
I'm going to take that.
And, and a coach had me do something, so
yeah, I'm
we're all
going to use that.
great.
Yeah,
Great.
That was fantastic. Right turns in 21 days. That's what I'm be thinking about all the way home.
And just making sure you capture all those ideas
Yes.
in some form.
Somewhere.
And,
Yes. Yep.
yeah, so we don't lose them.
Yes.
All right. Well, we spent the last hour on getting things done. I think let's see if I have one more that I'll share with you. This would lead me into sometimes we don't work on things or we don't get something done because we don't think we have what we need to get it done. It could be the right tools, the right software, I don't know. I don't have the right something, so I can't get it done. And this is, again, not rocket science, but I encourage you to, we look at, well, I don't have the money. That's usually the reason. That's the reason I use, to be honest with you. Sometimes I think, oh, I can't afford to invest in that. But yet that would be the best tool to get something done. Really, the advice is invest in the right tools. You might have to do some research. You might have to talk to several people to find out which of these 4 web tools are the right ones that I need to get to get the project done that I need to get done, or which software is the right one, or who should I go to? Which person or supplier is the right person or supplier or vendor to help me get this thing done? So if you don't have what you need to get it done, find the people, find the resources, strategically and intelligently invest in the right tools. Engage in your lifelong learning so that you gain the knowledge, you gain the skills, you change your attitude and mindset in order to move forward and get things done. And actually that leads me to, once again, saying, I've got the system, I've got the support structure to help you stay in action, to help you keep moving with my vault of resources. And so if you text, and actually I'll give you the website too, but if you text "Let Me In," all one word, LETMEIN, let me in, text that keyword to area code 202, next time I'll have the number up here, area code 202-499, so it's not too hard, Be Great, so that's 2478, the letter B, the letter G, the letter R, and 8. So 202-499-2478, text "Let Me In," all one word. You will get back the link to to my vault of resources that I normally make available for $197 a year. I mean, even that is just pennies a day. For being a part of this program, for participating in the Idea Lab, it's going to be $97 for the year to have access to me, to have access to my referrals, my recommendations, a lot of the programs that I've put together, a lot of the training and the learning for helping you get out of your head and get into action and stay into action with your ideas, and to get this reference sheet for how to get things done and how to get past, I think I listed about 15 primary reasons for not getting something done, barriers to getting something done, and the solutions to those barriers. So all of that. The website itself is ideasuccessnetwork.com/member. ideasuccessnetwork.com/member, and that's the direct link to the vault. Before we leave, repeat again how people can reach you.
Okay. I can be reached on Facebook at Felicia, Felicia, Step Up Your Life Meadows. That's MEADOWS. Or Felicia, Felicia dot stepupyourlife@gmail.com. So if you're interested in the complimentary workshop for your organization, your church, your school, inbox me or email me, or even if you want to do a session with your child, you can email me and we can work something out. Yep.
Great. And I've got a referral for you too.
Fantastic.
Off camera, because
Yes,
that's your treat
Yes.
and not
Thank you.
yours.
Thank you.
So with that, I so appreciate you joining us for another Idea Lab, the third Wednesday of every month. You want to be back here on live stream or you want to be here in the studio, really to get the most of it being here in person. But I will be presenting Idea Labs the third Wednesday of every month from 7 o'clock till 8:30, however long we go. And it will be another topic related to getting ideas, getting your goals, getting your dreams, your intentions out of your head and getting them into action. It might be me just talking and giving you a lesson. It might be a panel discussion. It might be interviewing 2 or 3 people just like we did tonight. You don't know what you're going to see, but you'll be finding out about it as long as you're on my list and getting my Idea Success notes, or that you're a part of the community that I've been sharing with you tonight. So I don't have any gracious ending other than I appreciate you being with me. And until the next Idea Lab, I'm Sylvia Henderson, the Clarity Queen of Implementation. And I want you to make a great day.